We're live now.
Okay. Okay, welcome to Travel. Travel is sponsored by Camera Electronics, and we are at the WA Epson Professional Photographer of the Year Awards. Can we have the first print, please? Okay, this print has scored 80 by majority. Accept that. Can I have a quick comment from Nick?
Look, I scored at 81. I think it's a good silver. Professionally, I think it's very well done. I do a lot of travel and I see this sort of scene everywhere, it's on every street corner. And what is done here is actually separated out the individuals in this photograph without too many mergers, and has actually dodged them, burned correctly. And I'm really enjoying looking at an image like this, but it's a good silver.
Thank you, Nick. Can we have the next print, please? Congratulations, this is a silver award. And can I get a comment from Dean, please?
Excuse me, I really love this. It's got a really painterly feel to it. I think it's really well seen. The balance of colour throughout the whole print is really beautiful. There's this big, power line right through the middle, which kind of, for me, was really just this juxtaposition of this beautiful, natural, wild-looking horse in this paddock, and man's impact is right there, but it's still a simply beautiful, really scene. So, yeah, it was a really nice print. Well done for getting a silver award.
Great, thanks, Dean. Can we have the next print, please? Next print, please. You want to step on? Tony, can you step on for a minute? Just for this print? For Jonas. Okay, congratulations. This is an 82 silver award. No. Can I get Lisa? Could you make a comment, please?
Yeah, it's a really lovely capture and really well handled to highlight the nun. For me, to bring it even higher, it's actually just the expression on her face. She's just it seems to be a bit between a moment, and rather than focusing on her work or looking off wistfully, she's got sort of a puzzled straight ahead. So if there is a slightly different capture with different expression, perhaps maybe look at that. Otherwise, it's a beautiful capture.
Great. Thanks, Lisa. Can we have the next print, please? Next print. This print has scored 84. Yep, Lisa will challenge this. Lisa is on 89.
Okay, guys. I just wanted to have another look at this one. I think we could really bring this up into the silver distinction range. For me, this has immediate impact as soon as it turned around with the colour palette, that lone figure, the clearing. I'm going to assume this is perhaps her back door or front door. This is her garden. This is how she lives. It's a bit bleak and desolate, but it's still clean. There's not too much. There's a little bit of rubbish beyond the fence, but there's nothing inside the fence. The little girl's there holding a doll. She's wearing the same blues as what is made from her house. It's just really well seen. She looks... Or the only thing that stopped me going into gold here was her expression was perhaps slightly, maybe uncomfortable and maybe looking slightly to the left of the camera. But that's it. Everything else, the composition, the colour palette, the placement is just perfect. So have another look, guys.
Okay, Ian, you're on 86.
I'm with you, Lisa. I actually like the expression. She's a timid little girl being photographed by a tourist, you know. To me, travel photography is all about giving us a sense of place. I love the composition here. It's a frame within a frame. But we do get a real sense of place. This is the girl's backyard or back of a hall, whatever. But if we look through the chicken wire fence and down, we get a bit of an idea of what environment it is she lives in. I think it's all working. I like the fact that the expression is what it is. She looks timid and scared, which is exactly what you'd expect of a little 3-year-old girl. If she was smiling or hamming it up for the camera, I don't think it would work anywhere near as much. To me, this really gives me a sense of what this place is like. Yeah, well done to the photographer.
Jonas, you'd like to make a comment? You're on 81. So
Yes.
everyone's in the silver range.
I really like the expression too. I also really like the color palette. And I obviously awarded it as silver. I was a little bothered by the highlights in the sky, which I think could have been brought down a little more, just to keep you in there a little more. But also for silver distinctions, I was looking at excellence. I'm looking at something that's really different, and I've seen that kind of image. It's beautiful composed and the frame in the frame, and I see all that, and I probably come up a few points. But for the distinction, I really feel I need something more, something that I haven't seen quite as much.
Okay, Lisa, do you?
Thanks. So I guess we've agreed the expression is actually a benefit to this image. For me, what brings this up into the silver distinction is its subtlety. It's not an in-your-face, this is a lower socioeconomic country or landscape. It's a very subtle image. It slowly wraps around you and brings you into her world and her environment. The highlights, I wouldn't bring them down any further because then it wouldn't look natural. It wouldn't look like it's the time of day that it's been taken at. For me, this is I really think we should bring this up into a silver distinction for its little extra element of mood and feeling and subtlety there.
Okay, Lisa, hold your score. Judges rescore, please. Okay, well done, team. It is now an 86. Silver distinction. Okay, can we have the next print, please? Okay, this print has scored an 82. Well done, silver award. Anyone like to make a quick comment? Dean?
Yeah, congratulations on a silver award. I find the cropping in the background of the straight through the middle of the mannequin maybe could have been refined and just brought in a little bit just to tidy it up a little bit. But look, I think you've got a really great sense of character in place and time here. Being able to see the headline in the newspaper so clearly and subtle little details like the pigeon that's down there and the coffee cup lid and all these little things really give it, a beautiful sense of time and space. So well done to the photographer.
Thank you. Can we have the next print, please? Just a reminder, this category is sponsored by Camera Electronics, and we thank them for their support, a long-term supporter of our awards and a lot of things that the AIPP does in Western Australia. Okay, this is a silver award at 82. Congratulations. Ian,
I'm quite enjoying this image. I like the focus on the woman in the foreground, but I'm really quite intrigued by the woman sitting behind her. I think it sits beautifully in the silver range. What would have really elevated this higher would be some magical expression on this woman in the foreground that's rifling through her lollies. But as it stands, I think it's a solid silver, and well done to the photographer.
well done. Thank you. Can we have the next print, please? Jonas. Congratulations, this is silver award at 80. Dean, can I just get you a quick comment?
Sure. It fell a little bit short for me. I had it just under the silver range. I think the things that were troubling me were the blown out highlights and potentially just lacking a little bit more engagement of the subject. You can't see too much of his face. I really love the scene and where this is going. I wonder whether it could have been photographed in a way to make us feel a bit more connection with the subject, which would have made me score it a bit higher.
Comments. Thank you. Can we have the next print, please? Sorry, it's all right. It's gone past. Jonas, if you've got something to say. This has scored an 81. It's a silver award. Congratulations. Jonas, you want to make a quick comment?
Okay. I really love that there's some tiny people, you probably don't see in live stream, there's some tiny people there, some sharp, some blurry. I really think this is quite superb. And I think the way it could be improved is when you crop the bottom up maybe like a quarter or so, I think you have a much stronger composition. So, and it's...
Yeah, just quickly, Nick. Yeah.
So very quickly, look, I enjoy that as well. I would have probably liked a little bit more burning in on the rocks on the left. That way, a little bit of dodging maybe on the blurred water and a bit of a gradient up the top would actually bring you down a little bit more to those people, and it'll bring you right into the picture. But good, solid professional practice.
Great, thanks guys. That's very helpful for the photographer. Can we have the next print, please? Okay, this print scores 82. We all happy with that? Okay. Ian, you're going to challenge that. You're on 87.
Yeah, I've given this an 87, and the reason I gave it an 87 was I just love the juxtapositioning of this figure in the subject of the frame in his tribal gear with his tribal batons or clubs, whatever they are, juxtapositioned against this man-made modern structure in the background that's just subtly subdued in the mist in behind. But I love the angle going through the frame. I think it's got a real dynamic to it, and we've got lovely rich colours through the subject matter. I think it just holds together really, really well, but it's really that juxtapositioning. So I'm intrigued at where this is. It's obviously a country where that has a strong tribal history, but I'm really intrigued to find out more about it from this image. So I encourage you to go and have another look at it. I think it's really quite good.
Nick Maladonis, do you want to make a quick
Look,
comment?
I agree with Ian. To me, I think it needed a little bit more to bring it up to a good solid silver. Again, I enjoy the textures, the simplicity of it, and I hear what you're saying about the juxtaposition. I just felt it needed something a little bit more in the content matter to jump out at me. It's good commercial practice. Would I go as far as awarding it a lot higher? To me, no.
The other end of the scale a little bit.
I'm in the middle of high-end professional practice, 77, but I can kind of see where you're coming from. What was lacking for me was there was no conviction in the subject matter. Like, he's standing there, he's held the battens up, and sort of like I can almost. It feels to me like the person saying, well, how's this? Is this where you want me? I'd like a little bit more energy, a bit more something coming from him to sort of tell me who he is, a bit of pride, whatever. But I hear the the contrast between the background and foreground, so I'm listening.
Okay, Ian.
Well, I sort of get the expression. I feel that these people, the tourists come around, take a photo of me. There is no connection there, and I think the smiling and the putting on. This guy's there going through the motions. He's probably been photographed 100 times, and he's just doing what he does. And I quite like that about it. It's not we're not photographing some tribal leader in his tribal environment. He's out of context, being photographed by, I'm presuming, by a tourist or someone doing some travel photography, and I quite like the fact that he isn't performing for the camera. He's just standing there doing his thing. I think it sort of lends itself to the bland tonality of the rest of the print. It's not a vibrant, cheery, happy image. It's you could almost read into this that his country's being overtaken by technology and progress and so forth. I think it just hangs together really well. It's quite an unusual travel image, and I think it's worth a little bit more than just a silver.
Hey, Ian, hold your score. Judges rescore. Well done. This print now scores an 84. Silver award. This print scores a 79. Would someone like to just give something for the photographer? Ian? Yep.
I think the key to good street style photography is finding your environment and then waiting for things to happen within it that make the image interesting. And I think what we have here is a situation where we have a great scene, but it's just a moment missed. If the photographer had waited a bit longer and just waited for things to happen within the frame, there could be something really quite interesting happening here.
Great, that's great feedback. Can we have the next print, please? Okay, this print scores 77. Can I get a comment from someone? Dean?
It's a really beautiful scene, and I liked it when I first turned around. I found myself when I was up there looking for Wally. I was expecting to find something that would push me over into the award range because, like, it is a beautiful scene. There's so much beautiful detail. It's been technically captured really well, but I feel like it's just to push it up into that award level. It's missing an element of intrigue and interest and a clear focal point.
Yeah, I hear what Dean's saying and I agree with it. I find myself from back here where my eye finishes up resting is the bottom right. That's the lightest part of the image, and yet we need to go towards the boats. So maybe a bit of burning on that end and maybe highlighting one of the boats, the bit of a dodge, would have given us an extra dimension to look into rather than the bottom right.
Okay, can we have a blank? Can we have a blank screen, please? Just give a quick. That's your watch hand, or okay. Could we have a quick judge change? Nick, could you take a little break? Jeff, could you go in there? And Jonas, can you take a break? And Tony, could you replace? This sprint scores 82. Silver award. Ian, can I get you to maybe give some input on how it could be improved?
I think if this is a portrait of the woman in the train, I'd like there to be a little bit more interaction between her and the photographer. However, as a travel image, I like the fact she's looking out the window, but I find the depth of field lets me down. I want to venture into that background and see what's out there and what's going on, and I can't quite see. It's just that little bit too soft. But other than that, I would have gone up.
That's great feedback. Can we have the next image, please? This print scores 79 by majority. Yes, Tony.
I think this just a little bit of less contrast, a little bit of dodge, burning in on the bottom, and just straighten your perspectives, which you can do in travel. And I think this would just tighten this up a little bit more and give it a little bit more strength to the narrative, which I'm enjoying, and that's why I gave it 82.
Great, thanks for your constructive feedback. Can we have the next print, please? Okay, this print scores 78. It's all fairly consistent, the scoring there. Lisa, could you make a comment on the print?
Yeah, I mean, this has got a lovely sense of space, place and the busyness, but I think it also suffers from just waiting for that right moment, something to happen. Everybody, there's everyone. There's two people looking at something, and I wanted to see what they were looking at, and I couldn't see it because it was behind the thing, and it might not have been anything, but perhaps just missed a moment there. But
Great.
well, still well captured.
Just quickly, yeah.
Yeah, and even just waiting for that scooter to move away from behind the bullock or the ox, whatever, would have improved it for me too.
Great. Okay, next print, please. This print scores a 75. Dean, would you like to make a comment?
Yeah. It's kind of a garish, kind of uncomfortable kind of color palette for me. I wonder if strength, making it monotone and bringing black and white might have added to a feeling of mood, and you would have been drawn into the dog a little bit more as a subject because of the busyness of everything else that's going on and the sort of colours and highlights on the leaves. That sort of eyes sort of wandering everywhere. And I'm not 100% sure the dog's really sharp either. I think maybe just missed the focus point there a tiny bit. So yeah, a couple of things to look at.
Thanks for your feedback. Can we have the next print, please? No technical glitches, which is okay. This print scores 84, and we have a challenge from Lisa on 90.
Okay. Yep, I went up there because I I was really, really entertained and delighted by this image. I love the fact that we have got an extraordinarily stereotypical scene in, I believe it might be Israel, from the writing on the front, of someone writing scripture or something in their text. And that in itself is something everyone would stop to take a photo of. But what we're actually seeing reflected is everybody has stopped to take a photo of this man. So whether he's there and he's actually doing his job, or whether he's placed there and is being, he's there as entertainment for the tourists, I just love, and I found myself looking and looking and looking and trying to work out which one was the photographer. I think I might have picked them out, I'm not sure. I certainly couldn't recognise them, just in case anybody's listening. But I just love this fact that we are participating in the act of over-photographing a typical tourist scene, and we can see that, and we subtly, it's subtly represented with all the reflections. It's something, we've certainly seen lots of photos of people taking photos of something, but I haven't seen anything like this, and it really struck me as really interesting.
You have a fair amount of support. Ian, can I get you to make a comment? You're on 84.
Yeah, I'm with you. Probably not as high, but I'm with you. I love the layering in this. I saw this, you know, this Jewish man essentially in a goldfish bowl with all these people around taking pictures, and I found what gave me that goldfish bowl feeling was almost, you know, the reflection of the people in the back look like they're on the other side photographing, and there's glass in the foreground. But then there's this layering. There's the people right up against the window, and then there's the people photographing them, photographing him, and then there's just people walking past, ignoring the whole thing. I find it a really humorous image, and I think I possibly underdid it a smidge.
Okay. Well, Jeff, are you able to make some comments on this?
I really love the look of this image, and I love the fact that it's in black and white. I just found it a little bit confusing, and I just wonder whether it would do better with a little bit of just crop to what we can see in the mirrors, basically. I think it's definitely a silver award, but I just don't know how high I would go with it.
Okay. Dean?
Sorry, Tony, I had my hand up first. Good point, Jeff. I'm loving the chaos more. I think there's this external chaos of what's happening around him, but there's also the internal busyness of his little world. An extra little thing that I saw, which will answer your question, Jeff. On the far left, there's a little photograph of what I believe to be him as a younger man doing exactly the same thing. So I think with that little story, if you'll go with me on that, it's another little time capsule of a moment being, you know, like I see this sort of pursuit, writing scripture in the Torah, as something's been happening for thousands of years, and he's continuing on with that tradition even in the modern world of smartphones and everything that's going on behind him. So I think that story element has really elevated it for me. I had it on 84 and very happy to come into the silver distinction range at least.
Well, since Lisa's looking for gold, I'll add one more comment. Tony, do you want to have a quick comment?
Yeah, Dean covered a lot of it. Look, the sign at the front tells us what's going on because it actually invites the tourists to come inside to have a Shem Torah done, scribed on behalf of, in the memory of, or the memory of their family, or etc. Nowadays, we take a selfie with a photo or something on the phone, so I think the juxtaposition's a lot stronger than I picked up at first. The confusion is there for sure, but perhaps that's reflective of confusion of society. The reflection photo, this top, it certainly adds to it. So yeah, I'll go into distinction. I still find the business probably holds me from gold, though.
Okay, Lisa.
I think everyone's probably said as much as I want to say. The only thing I'd probably want to add to this is just last night I was having a discussion with my 11-year-old daughter. She was trolling through Instagram, so I was next to her, making sure that we could see what we could see. And one of her friends was at a concert on Saturday night with her friend. And Amy's only comment was, "Mum, they're all looking at their phones. They're not looking at the concert." Now, I know we're here, we want to remember the moment, but this is increasingly what we see everywhere. People come past, and as photographers, we do it, we snap, but I try now to stop and actually take in the moment as well. It's captured, it's intriguing. Everyone takes a photo, thinks they're going to remember it and move on. I think it's at least a silver distinction, if not gold.
Lisa, hold your score, and everyone rescore. Well, thankfully, the photographer did stop to take the photograph because it's now a silver distinction at 87. Can we have the next print, please? I had the information. Okay, this print scores an 83. Silver award. Well done. Can we have a quick comment from Lisa, please?
Yeah, sure. I really enjoyed the symmetry and the simple composition of this. If you do take this through to APPA, have a look at your processing. It just looks like it's been taken a little too far. Some of the detail seems to have been gone from the man's face or something like that. Just a little bit maybe over HDR somewhere or a little bit crunched, but it's a really well seen shot. Well done.
Great, thanks for your constructive comments. Can we have the next print, please? This print has scored an 84, silver award. Jeff, could you make a quick comment?
Yeah, I think this is, I actually judge this silver distinction because everything in it is working. There's some beautiful shadows underneath the objects on the wall on the right, and everything's pointing into that woman doing her work, and she's sitting there probably trying to keep cool. I think it's beautiful.
Thanks, Jeff. Can we have the next print, please? Okay, this print scores 74. Tony, can I get you to make a quick comment?
I think it's important that the point of focus is chosen judiciously. The sharpest part is in the background and the lady climbing through is actually soft. So we probably just need to check your focus for a start. That'll be good.
Great, thanks, Tony. Can we have the next print, please? Okay, this print scores an 85, silver distinction. I think we had a quick comment from Tony.
The strength of this image is obviously a beautiful colour palette, great sense of ambience and sense of place. And I love the spirit of exploration that we get from reading the boat moving away from us into a misty, unknown sort of journey. So, well done.
Can we have the next print, please? Okay, this print scores a 79. Can we get a quick comment from Ian?
I really like the scene that we're seeing here. I think it's just a little bit about control. We've got all these, unlevel things. Quite easily straighten them up in Photoshop or Capture One or something just to tidy it up a little bit. That possibly would have got me to bring it up into the silver range.
Right, that's good feedback. Can we have the next print, please? Okay, this print has scored 79. Can I have a quick comment from Dean? Sorry, Dean.
Definitely sits very comfortably in the range of professional practice. I think there's technical things working for it. It's nice and sharp throughout the whole subject matter. We've got a subject there that's fallen right smack bang in the middle, which was great, but then what's happening there is just very nothing. So I think so a little bit more interaction or engagement or substance in the actual central focal point within this scene would have elevated it for me.
Fantastic. Can we have the next print, please? This printer scored 77. Everyone's happy with that?
No, I can challenge, can I?
Yes.
Yeah, look, I think this is worthy of a silver. I've only just put it in the low silver range, but the reason I brought it up from just playing professional practice is this quirky little picture in the middle. We've got all these umbrellas where their faces are obscured, and then we've got this little girl, and pictured on her umbrella is a face, you know, and I just find that really, really quirky. I think the print treatment could be better, but just because of that little story in the right-hand side, I thought that's been well seen by the photographer, and I've just lifted it up into the silver range. I'd just encourage you all to just have a rethink on that and have a look at it.
Okay, Jeff.
Well, I agree. That little face on the umbrella is interesting, but the whole image falls a bit flat for me. Technically, it looks all right, but there's just nothing that moves me in that picture.
Okay, Dean.
I'm with you guys. I enjoyed that little face that you weren't expecting to see up there in the little caricature on the umbrella. But then I was really distracted by the lady to the right and the brightness of the colour and being able to see her face. The others on the left are obscured, which leads your eye across to the little girl one. But then I'm drawn across to something that is disengaging again and quite distracting. So that's what kept it below the award range for me.
Okay, Ian.
Look, I'm not asking for anything major here, just up a few points. I actually quite like the fact that the woman whose face you can see is the only one that's got any vivid colour around her, and that in itself is quite boring. And then you're sort of rewarded with this little umbrella with the face on it and the little legs walking the other way. It's all wrong, but for me it just works. So just a couple of points is all I'm looking for, guys.
Okay, Holly score, rescore, judges. Well, you got a couple points, but only two, 79. Can we have the next sprint, please? Congratulations, this is an 82 silver award. Can we just get a quick comment from Jeff?
I think this is a beautiful image, and I just love that it's saying to me that it's somewhere in the tropics and that it's a story of decay and neglect. And I love to see where people have walked through and broken through the floorboards and things. Yep.
Please. This print scored 76. Can I get a quick comment from Lisa, thanks?
Yeah, I mean, I actually quite like the moment. It reminded me, although nowhere near as beautiful, beaches or little mini, whatever they call the boats that come off the big boats. Just standing there, the dad standing there like that, it struck a chord. But I just feel it's not enough of a story. They needed to maybe get in there closer, have something happening underneath those umbrellas. We couldn't quite see what was going on. So it's almost there. It's definitely professional practice to elevate to an award. Just get in more work on that story.
Thank you. Can we just have a blank screen? Let's come over at judge change. Lisa, you've been on for an hour. I'll give you a break. Jonas, can I get you to pop in there? You want? Yep. Nick, could you take that place as well? And I'll just accept that and change the judges. Fantastic. Can we have the next print, please? Tony, I haven't got your score. Oh, that's what you guys had swapped over because we changed you over a couple of times. Sorry, yep. Well, who? Yeah, it's all right. I'll sort this out first. All right. Someone's hanging on this score. The print scored 86, silver distinction. Okay, can we just have a blank screen? I just want to check the scores. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Can we grab a comment from Ian? Thanks.
Yeah, I really enjoy this image. You know, people coming home late at night on a train. It's not an easy thing to photograph. You know, when you're on a train full of people. What I particularly like about this is the little cameo in the window, the reflection of the couple sitting on the chair. I think the print quality is really lovely, and I think it's just a lovely scene that's been lovely scene that's been seen and well captured.
Okay, can we have the next print, please? I'll sort this judge out. Okay, this print scores an 84. You're challenging? Make it nice and clear, Nick. Okay, Nick's challenging on 91.
Oops, this is yeah. Look, what an exquisitely seen photograph. I like the quirky nature and the humour in the figure on the left. And that detail on the back wall just absolutely leaps out of the photograph. The printing of that and the tonal values and the way that they're held in this photograph really denotes the fact that this photographer really understands what they're doing, understands also printing, as well as being able to see an unusual scene. I implore my judges, have a look at it again. I really think it's worth at least a gold.
Sorry. Can we have a comment from Ian? Thank you.
I really love this image too, Nick, but obviously not quite as much as you. I find the crop a little bit annoying for me. It's just not quite square, and I would like to see, we've cropped right through a rubbish bin. I actually really think that rubbish bin would add to the scene, you know, to that urban, I don't know, Midwestern American urban environment or whatever. And I think that would really help. And then there's a couple of little issues with me with the perspectives, things leaning over and so forth that I think could be fixed. I've put it in the silver range and I'm quite comfortable with it there. But, you know, all in all, I still think it's a really well seen image.
Okay. Jonas, can I get a comment from you?
Yeah, I really love the composition of this image. I also really love that there's something that we can't see, which not many images have. What I don't like about this image is the heavy handing of the sky. Like in one way it really adds to the drama, but it's always pulling my eye down to the foreground, which is really the least interesting part of the image. So I think if the sky's a bit less heavy-handed, a little bit brighter, I think I'd probably be definitely up in the silver distinction range.
Okay. Nick, do you want to bring
Yeah,
it home?
look, this is travel and has a sense of place and being able to have a bit of a narrative. I like what this has done, the fact that it's not perfectly square and so on. It doesn't bother me as much. I think to be able to see that, capture it and finish it off in such an exquisite manner, I think at least it should go up to a silver distinction. And that's all I'm really asking of my fellow judges.
Okay. Nick, hold your score. The rest of the judges, please rescore. Now it's a silver distinction of 87. Congratulations. Can we have the next print, please? This print scores an 82. Congratulations, it's a silver award. Non-Kim challenge, I'm afraid. Do you want to make a comment, Jonas?
Okay, I applaud this photographer for being brave and giving us something different. I also encourage the photographer to be even more brave in the handling of the print. I think if you might just black and white and really heavy on the contrast, you might actually have some, like the elements are there that what looks like to be a woman, the skirt swing, you know, her coat going back, that's absolutely stunning. I think if you bring that out and have that like really be bold, that could be an amazing image, I reckon.
Thank you. Can we have the next print, please? Ian, how are you going? All right? Has it been a while? No, you're right. You don't need a break or anything? Okay, cool. This print scores a 79. Can we have a quick comment from, everyone's got their hand up, Jeff?
This image is, to me, is just a little bit flat, and there's not a lot of impact, even though I really appreciate that person in the middle of the image down the bottom. But when I first went to the image, I looked at the skyline, and then I found him down the bottom. But it's good, I just don't think it makes silver award standard.
Great, thanks, Jeff. Can we have the next print, please? Okay, this print scores 76, and we have a challenge from Ian on 84. Your, yeah, the next nearest is 77.
Oh, I'm not that far away. I actually really love this image. You know, it's travel. It's about a sense of place. So I've just been to this place, so maybe that's why. But I instantly could recognise where this was. It's in Barcelona at the Arc de Triomphe. But the place is always vibrant. There are these street performers doing these things, and I really like the dynamic of these bubbles going through the frame. But then we've got all these little stories going on, these little kids having a ball, the grandmother, you know, laughing, hands to her face, enjoying the scene, the kid running to try and grab it. I think it's a moment well captured that really sums up that environment, you know, on a Sunday afternoon when there's lots happening, lots of kids playing and so forth. I think it should be at least awarded with the silver.
Great. Tony, can I make a comment?
Yeah, look, I have to disagree respectfully. I find that a professional photographer, professional practice in this environment, framed up, but all the narratives mixed up. The stories are sort of a bit chaotic. The couple with the lady with the pram is behind the bubbles. The person blowing the bubbles is out of the frame, which is okay. It's kind of moments in between moments where that actually have a strong impact or clear narrative. It is a place that you can recognise, but for me it lacks that unique sense of timing or sense of moment comes and gives you that extra impact to be awarded. So I'm just not there, sorry, Ian.
So let's give you a quick comment.
I echo what Tony said. It's also, if you get a lot closer to the scene, I think the impact would have been dramatically higher. The part that I enjoy about this image is the mother at the back being really excited about little ones, but it's only a very small part of the image. And with everything going on and not really having the design elements to elevate into silver range, I struggled to be thinking about going there.
Okay, Ian.
Sorry you guys can't see. I think that's the whole point. You know, kids running around like that aren't orderly. It is chaotic. You know, without the children there, what would the woman be laughing at? She's laughing or enjoying this chaos of these children running amok. I think we've got the leading lines bringing us through the children into the woman and into the Arc de Triomphe there in the background. If we want a slice of life of Barcelona on a Sunday afternoon, it's giving it to me. Okay, it's not perfect. I'm just in the silver. I'm a solid silver at 84. I'm not asking for any more, but I think we're really underdoing it at a, what is it, 76? 76. Yeah. So, but I don't think I've got any support there. So.
Okay, Ian, hold your score. Rest of the judges for a score, please. Well, you got an extra point. 77. Can we have the next print, please? This one scored 78. Can we have a quick comment from Jonas? Can we?
It's just a little bit off balance. I love the expression on the motorbike rider's face, but compositionally, you could frame him with all those religious things that go up in the sky. Yeah, it's just like, look at your composition.
Can we set a blank screen? Let's have a quick judge change. Jeff, could you take a little break? And Dean, could you pop on for Okay, it's Princess Silver Award at 80. Congratulations. Can I just get a quick comment from Tony?
Yeah, look, I just snuck over the line here, and I think what took me there was the fact that this was quite a strong narrative. It did tell me something about a place, and it's a story that I don't see where I live, and I don't see it in a lot of other places. So kudos to the photographer for bringing that to us.
Great, thanks, Tony. Can we have the next sprint, please? Just a reminder, this category is sponsored by Camera Electronics. This printer scored 76. Can I get a quick comment from Nick Maladonis, please?
Look, when I look at this, the thing that my eye goes to is obviously the sharpest and brightest, and the part of the image with the greatest local contrast enhancement, and that's the plastic beyond the boat, which I don't think is sufficient of a story there to be able to bring this up into an award category. I think it's well done, well seen, well taken, but for an award I would expect a little more of a narrative as a travel image.
Great, thanks, Nick. Can we have the next sprint, please? This printer scored a 79. Would someone like to make a quick comment? Yep, Tony.
Look, something going on. Good connection with the character looking at us. We're getting. It's like I feel like I've got half a story, but I haven't got the rest of the story. And I think also as a photographer, as a professional photographer, bringing to a professional awards, cropping and composition maybe, even though it's a momentary thing, you still want to have that correct. I think the guy's feet are a little close to the bottom and so on.
Ian, just a quick comment.
I'd question whether it's in the right category. To me, this is more a sort of a documentary than a travel image. Do you know what I mean? Like, to me, to entice me to visit a place, this isn't the the sort of image. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think maybe it would have been better judged in documentary.
Great, thanks, Ian. Oh, really quick, Nick.
I think picking up on what Tony said, I think the crop, if you look at the little black blob just in the top there, it could easily be taken out with a crop and the little bit of stuff coming in on the left-hand side. I mean, little things like that make a difference if you're looking for the 1 or 2 points. And I think, look, the photographer's got a nice slice of life there, whether it's doc or travel or whatever, it's a slice of life. But I think the important thing is if you're looking at a professional print, then the professional judges will pick those things if they have to.
Have. Okay. Okay, can we have the next print, please? Congratulations. This is a silver award at 82. Ian, can I just get you to make one quick comment?
Yeah, I'm quite enjoying this image. I love when you read the Chinese translations of, what the hell is the production field sales mean to do with that? It's quite humorous. My only suggestion would be to pull the contrast back a little bit. I find the image just a little too contrasty. I think it'd be much nicer printed a little bit more subtly.
Okay. Can we just have a blank screen with a quick judge change as we push towards the end of the category? Ian, you can take a break. You've been on for a fair while. Lisa, can I get you to... Just going to change the system. Okie dokie. Can we have the next print, please? This print scores 76. A quick, Jonas, can you give me a quick comment?
Okay, I think the photographer should revisit the scene. There's real potential there. There's this bright light that's like a distraction for us in this image, but you could also wait for people to go through and have this as a halo, use it as an effect. What I really like about it is that there's some elements are sharp. It's not just like a blurry image that I do a lot, but so there's some elements that are sharp, which really adds another dimension. But you look at your coloring, there's the colors a little bit all over the place, and there's less distraction, so the line doesn't cut through that person right on top. If it cuts through the middle, there's a story going on, but if it just cuts a little bit, that's not enough for us to actually get us over the line.
That's great feedback. Thank you. Can we have the next print, please? Well, this is interesting. This printer scored 85. 85.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Yes. Okay, Lisa has challenged us on 90.
All right, guys, it's not that I've had too much chocolate, I promise. I may have had too much chocolate, but that's not making me see gold. That sand is making me see gold, and not just because of its colour. This is travel. You can't do anything to materially affect the authenticity of the image. Now, I know you all know that because you're all amazing travel photographers here. But this person has managed to get a shot of a lone person at exactly the right spot, almost like they planted them there. Perhaps they told them to go there, I don't know. And one track heading off to that direction. Whether that's that person's track or not, I don't know. But I believe that it feels like that person's track to me. So it gives me the feeling that this person has trekked all the way through the dunes on their own, and they're up at the peak. They're definitely on a journey in this beautiful place. I've looked closely at some of the other patterns in the sand. None of them seem to look like footprints to me. They do genuinely seem to be a single track going through there. I love the colour palette. I love the composition. This is for a single image captured. I think this is definitely gold. And we're already at silver distinction, so if not, it needs to be a solid silver distinction. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts.
It got 85. So Lisa's looking for a gold. Jonas, you're in support. You've got 86,
Yeah, I'm already
87.
87. I really love the color. I love the graphic nature, the three-dimensionality of this image. I love the color palette. It's beautifully crafted. It's beautifully composed. You see all that. That's why I also score in the silver distinction range. For gold, I would need something that is different, that's a little bit out of the ordinary, or as we call it, outstanding visual communication interpretation. It's just like for gold, I really need something I haven't seen quite like this before, which I haven't quite like this, but sort of similar to. I come up a couple of points because I really like, he kicked that person in there, that silhouette. He kicked the sand, which really adds to the image, gives a little bit of drama and a little bit something that we haven't seen. But I'm not sure if I'm going to make it to gold, but I'm listening to what everybody else has to say.
Dean, can I get a quick comment for you? And I'll come to you.
I at first thought, I wonder why they're not at the top, but I really love the timing actually, the more that I look at it. I think the timing both for the sense of movement and action in the puff of dust, but also that the journey's not finished. So our traveller's still travelling and he's still on a bit of a voyage of exploration. So yeah, I really like all of that. I need something else, I don't know what, to get to gold, but solid silver distinction is where I think it belongs. Yeah, it's a beautiful print, so well done, and I look forward to hearing other opinions as well.
Tony, you're at the other end of the scoring range.
Look, I struggle to put it into an award range, to be honest, but I'm listening and I am warming to some of the comments. For me, the whole bottom half of this, if we're talking gold, we're talking excellence, creativity, etc. Yes, it's a single capture. Yes, you can't change it, which means that the photographer's encumbered with the challenge of finding a perspective that gives us the best photograph or the best image. And for me, there would be angles that you could get that would take away the untidiness of the whole bottom right-hand corner. The track's beautiful, but then it gets to a little piece which has got a little sliver of shadow, and it starts to get a little bit untidy for me. The top bit with the guy up on the hill, yeah, that's all cool. It's not an extraordinarily innovative, never before seen picture, so I'm not blown away with, wow, I've never seen that before. So I'm looking at this and going, professional practice, somebody there should be able to get this and get it to this standard at the highest end. Would I go to silver? Possibly, because been a couple of little insights that have added to my opinion. But I have to be honest, I just couldn't go to gold with this particular image at the moment, unless something else comes up that you
Okay,
speak
Lisa, can I have you?
Okay, so yeah, I've heard what you're all saying. The idea of footprints in the sand and going up a sand dune is definitely not new. It's not something we haven't seen before. For me personally, there are enough elements in this for it to be, at the very least, a solid silver distinction. The perfect positioning and moment of kicking the sand up the top there just as he reaches the peak. Perhaps they could have done something slightly different with the framing down the bottom, but it is most definitely in the award, and it's, in my opinion, most definitely of a silver distinction. So see how you can go.
Okay, Lisa, hold your score. Judges rescore. Oh, you moved them 1 point. It's an 86 now. Silver distinction. Can we have the next sprint, please? Congratulations, this is a silver award at 82. Yeah. Tony, can I get a quick comment?
Look, this is an image that's nailed almost everything except sharpness. I think the point of focus is just a bit too far forward. If you'd got the focus on the girl, I think it would have gone a lot higher. But great narrative, beautiful composition, well printed, great use of tonality, good sense of moment, great travel photo.
Great, thanks, Tony. Can we have the next print, please? Okay, this print scores 81. Silver award. But just a quick comment from Dean. Yes.
I really wanted to go. I really wanted to go high with this one. So congratulations on a silver award. This vignette that's sort of making everything blur to white on the outsides is a bit distracting, and I don't know why it's there. The mood of this is really beautiful. It really takes you to this place. These boys are off to their something surf school, it said in the background, which was really kind of cool, but their sense of adventure and their expressions on their faces are captured really well. That anticipation of heading out to the water and excitement is really good. But yeah, I don't know, this vignette's just sort of just distracting in a way. It doesn't hopefully need to be there. Even if it was on one side, it would look like sea mist coming in, which was kind of cool, but that can't come from both sides for mine. So.
Yeah, just really quick.
Yeah, but just a quick one. Look, I hear what you're saying, Dean. To me, this vignetting, reverse vignetting on the outside, it's almost like this was shot in yesteryear. That's the sort of feeling I get with the sepia overtones and so on, and I find that quite interesting. So it just, the photographers attempted something different, and that's why I awarded it perhaps a bit higher than you did.
Great. Okay, can we have the next print, please? Okay, this print scores 76. Can I get a quick comment from Jonas? Thanks.
Okay, I encourage the photographer to look at the balance of the image, compositional wise, and your sharpness maybe a little bit.
That is the end of the category. Thank you. I'm not sure what's happening next, but I'll just quickly thank Camera Electronics again for the sponsorship of the travel category. Thank you.